The fear can make you not to go ahead, because when you look at what other people have been talking about, the challenges they are passing, what they have been into. In fact, as I was listening to the business discussions of if our businesses currently can actually outlive in 2 years' time, I noticed two peculiar questions that people were asking. Majorly management and funding. Management and funding, and this is the key ingredients in any business. Before we continue, we are going to pray, because it's very, very needful that we pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks to worship you for yet another opportunity in your presence. We cannot do this alone. It's only you that can do it. Help us, Lord, for we are helpless. But your promises are ever sure, and we are so confident that you are going to help us. May after this evening, may we go home with knowledge, with action, with passion that will help us boost our already existing businesses. For those who are yet to start, that you will also give them insights on the kind of business they can go into that will profit them. That at the end, all glory will be ascribed unto your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name we are praying. So yesterday we talked about the market and industry trend analysis, where we try to look at what is happening in Nigerian economy, the implications of the dollar, unifying of dollar rates. We also talked about the implications of removal of fuel subsidy. We also talked about the inauguration of the Economic Council and Advisory Committees, Presidential Advisory Committees on the economy. We also looked at the different things that we need to know as terms, so that when we are listening to what is happening in the society, or listening to news on what is happening in the economy, you can have an understanding. We looked at different terms. We looked at the MPC, MPR. We looked at I and E FS windows. If people can still remember what we talked about. In case, remember that today is a question day. At any time, feel free to ask your question, because we might not have much time. At any time, you just raise up your hand and ask a question so that you can get a better clarification. We talked about looking at the different businesses that can thrive during whether a recession or during high inflation. Currently, when we are in the inflationary pressure is so high in Nigeria today. And like we talked about, we looked at that at April, the inflationary rate was about 22.04%. People can remember what we said yesterday. We also talked about the GDP. We'll explain that GDP of any nation is what shows the economic health of that nation. And we talked about that when a GDP of a nation is in negative, that's when we talk about economic recession. Then when a GDP is in positive, that means the economy is growing. No matter how small, it might be growing. We also talked about that currently, as at Q1, that our GDP growth was about 1.3% or whatever growth. Looking at quarter analysis of our GDP. Today we'll be going to business plans. We'll also be talking about branching out, what you need to look at before you branch out. And then the most interesting one is getting funding. I believe in business management, just like we talked about people having challenges in managing the businesses and all that. And just like our brothers talked about when you sell on credit, the truth is that there is no way as a businessman you will run away without selling on credit. It's not possible. Some people try to do it, but the truth remains that it's not easy for you to achieve 100% sales not on credit. And that's why you need to, if you are actually doing any business, you need to do bookkeeping. You know, he mentioned that the wife might have collected, the person will say, I've given the wife the money of what they took in credit. But there is no place it's written. There is no transfer of that document. That document is like money. Your creditor's book is like money, although not yet converted to money. So it's very important if you must survive and you sell on credit, just like we talked. So you need to have a bookkeeping where you write the details of who and who, amount, what they took that they are owing you, so that at each time, if they pay, you can tick that they are paid. It helps in you knowing whether you are going or not. Alright, so this evening we'll be looking at business plans. As a businessman, or even as a novice that want to enter into business, it's always good to have a plan. I want to go into pharmacy business. What do I need to do? First and foremost, I need to design a plan. Most times, business plan can be for personal use or maybe to get funding or investors' confidence to invest in your business. We'll be looking at the different, funding, just like we talked about, so that you also understand that there are some aspects of that business plan that is needed by either financial institution, that's be the deposit money banks, when they want to really give out loans to you. They will ask you for some certain things which are parts of that business plan to be sure that you really are out. You are out to make that business grow and make profit. We're also going to be looking at, when you are doing a business, that ability to dissect what you are selling. And in case you want to take up a loan from a bank, what is the implication? Are you sure that loan will be useful to you? Because some people, they will take loan, but you still see their businesses going down. Most times it's poor utilization. Most times it's poor calculation. Poor utilization, just like we talked the last time when we had this first meeting during the church service. Poor utilization can be, you bring a loan, instead of using it for the purpose of that loan, you put your hands inside that loan and use it for something else, which most times might be fixed assets. When you go and buy a land, it's not bringing in money. The cash conversion cycle, we'll still talk about cash conversion cycle yesterday. The ability to quickly get out your money in any product you have invested your money in. So business plans. In business plan, the first part of that business plan is what we call the executive summary. In business plan, the first part, all of us, probably some of us will also know this. In executive plans, or in executive summary, what do you find out in executive summary? Just like a summary of what you want to do. What are the opportunities that you have, or that is the driving force for you to go into that? What are your expectations? Before you step out, you need to have what is your expectation? So the first part, just like we said, is the executive summary. When you look at the opportunities, you'll be looking at opportunities. What are the opportunities there in that business? And that's why we'll now be looking at, what is the problem that your business is solving? It might be, for instance, you are living in a street where it's usually very difficult to trek to maybe junction or to a retail market, sub-market to purchase items. You can decide as a civil servant, why not set up something like provision store within that area, so that people that want to buy something can come to your place and purchase it. So for every business establishment, there is always a problem that you should, if you really want your business to be successful, your business will be targeted to solve a problem. To solve a problem. Be it whether it's service provision, be it commerce and trading. What is your business solving? That is part of what's expected. What are your target markets? You are going to look at what are your target markets. Target market, for instance, if you are selling pharmacy products, that's if you are into patent dealership or you are into pharmacy sales, looking at the geographical location, you should be able to know whether they have more small children in that location, or adults, or elderly people, to know the kind of drugs you can buy. I don't know that that's what I mean. For instance, I'm a pharmacist now, and I want to establish a pharmacy business. Let us assume, which location am I going to talk about now? Let me use, inside school, where we have more of professors and students, the children. When you want to sell your products, or when you want to really set out that business, you need to consider that geographical mix-up. The children, what are the drugs that the children normally take when they are sick? It needs to be part of what your stock should contain. The elderly people, most of them are diabetic, they are these, all those age-related illnesses. You also need to make sure that your products have those drugs that are specific for that age limit. You also need to look at, students, why not also put for those of them that are youth? But most times, because of the academic calendars in the university, you should now know that even if you are in that business, depending on the area where you have cited it, is it in the hostel? If it's in the hostel, you have to deal more with those drugs that are for youth. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. Those drugs, because if you are selling age like diabetic, or maybe people that are suffering from other BP, high BP and all that, even young people actually suffer BP, but it's rare, So when you are setting that business, for instance, in the hostel, you need to look at those products that will be consumed by that population. That's what we talk when we talk about target markets. What is your target market? If you are selling books, what are your target markets? Is it university books you want to be selling? Is this for secondary schools? Is it for nursery and primary schools? What are your target markets? So that's actually another part of what we need to look at when we are setting out our business plan. I wish we had a projector so that we can actually see an example of that business plan. But what will happen is that I'm going to circulate it in our WhatsApp group so that we'll see what it looks like, and any question you have, you can ask or call. What is the competition inherent in that business you are going into? That's another thing you need to find out. What is the competition? You cannot set a business close to your major competitor as a startup. Let me say it again. I am a retail seller or a wholesaler of a particular product. Let me use Pepsi, for instance, as an example. If I want to set up my business, I must be very keen about competition. I cannot go to where the distributor is having a nearby warehouse or shop, because what? Price differences will be so high, and it will affect the ability for you to make sales. That's what we mean when you want to set out. You need to look at the competition inherent in that particular business. And that is why most times you see people battle, and I always say that even the health of a business is competition. For a business to be healthy, there should be competition in it. Healthy competition, not the one that they will go and put up for you so that you die and not succeed. Healthy, and that's why if you go to market today, you have one man, people that are selling different kinds of bread oil. You go to a particular location, you see another different line of particular product they are selling. What will now be your selling point as at that time? It will be now dependent on your relationship with people, the quality of your product, your pricing, and all those things. We'll look at all those things later. But we are looking about the competition that is inherent in that particular location that you want to site your business. Then the next is execution. You know, it's always good to plan, but the problem is to execute. That's the problem. Some people, when you talk to them, they have very beautiful plans. In fact, there's one of my colleagues, if he tell you the innovations, when he discuss with you, he will tell you these business ideas that you would like to listen and listen to. But starting now is a problem. So the next part is, how do you execute that plan that you have made or you have outlined for yourself? While you are looking at that execution, you'll be looking at marketing and sales. The part of execution is marketing and sales. How do you get your target market to buy from you? How do you get the target market to buy from you? Marketing and sales, that's where you now see sales and promotions. People will start, even if you come to church, I will talk to this person, please, I'm doing this particular product, or you go to your WhatsApp status, you go and post it, or you go to Facebook, you post it, or you go to Instagram, you post it. Marketing and sales. How do you get that product to go to the end user? Because if you have products and it doesn't get to the end user, there's no business transaction. You'll be having stock. And we'll be telling you are selling a product that has expiry or shelf life, expiry dates, and you are not able to sell. The business will expire in your hands and your money will be gone. So we need to look at the marketing and sales, the operations. Operations can come in the sense of what and how do I get the product to someone that wants to buy more. For instance, as a distributor, there are limits of purchases that you can supply to your customer. For instance, if you are coming to buy anything less than 100 cartons, some of us will not supply that product to you. We'll tell you to come to the shop and carry it. Do you understand? Or someone is buying 100 and above. The reason why you are looking at that is because of the cost of logistics. So you are looking at the operational implications and trying to maximize profit by reducing operational costs. In the sense, you can still call it operational efficiency. Operational efficiency. To make your operations work. You look at also technology and equipment, depending on the kind of service you're offering or product you are selling. What and what do you need that will make you really make the sales? For instance, as a distributor, if you don't have Dyna or those small buses or anything that are buses that can convey goods to customers, is a very big problem for you. So you look at the operations, the technology, the equipment and all that. Then you also look at the performance measurements. When you have set out this plan, or when you have started, how do you really ascertain that you are doing well, or that your business is moving well? How many sales did you do in January compared to what you have done in February, compared to what you have done in March? You also need to analyze what could be the reason why I didn't sell much during this month, during that month. Then you also need to look at the productivity of your employees, the people they are working with. The productivity, how productive are they, depending whether it's a service fair or you are into the sales of commodities. You need to look at the company That's the next item. Company overview, succession plan. You know, remember the last time when we had the program during the church service, we talked about succession plan. We talked about businesses that died because the parents or the owners of the business were not able to carry their children along with that business or make them to like that business. You know, there's one thing that you are bringing in your child to love a business. There was a time I went to mechanic village. Some of you that sell things there will also know. There's one man there that deals on lights, car lights and all that. You even see the daughters doing that same business. Ordinarily, somebody will say, what is the business of a woman in a mechanic village? But they are part of that business. At a time, when the father is not around, you see them, even they do that particular thing more than the father. So it's always good that you look at the company structure, what are your succession plan, so that the company can live to generation, if you want it so. Then another thing is the financial plan. Financial plan. This is where the major work and expertise is needed. Financial plan, if you don't have financial plan, okay, I have a wonderful business idea. I don't have one night. How do I start? Is a problem. Or I'm already in business, but the money that I have is not helping me to meet up to customers' demand. You know, money can limit your business because of what? There are some products that customers will be coming to your shop to demand, which is actually areas of what you are selling. But because you don't have much money, you might not be able to make purchases to include those goods in your shop. I also know some people, like people that sell varieties of products, what they do is that when customer A comes to ask for this particular product, they will write it down. When they go to market, they will go and look for that product and put in their shop. And this will help me when I bought one new product like that from one company in Lagos. I have to position students inside campus and some other streets within the population of those that consume these drinks, these beverages. What did I do? I had to pay them. What were they doing? They will come to one shop. They might maybe they even visited your shop. They will come to that shop and say, "Do you have this freeze drink?" You say, "Only for my freeze." That was the time I was trying to do sales and promotion of that particular goods. They will come again to another shop and ask, "Do you have this particular product?" You don't know the product. But people, the demand is becoming too much. I make sure I use them to create demand in the market. I don't know if you understand what I mean. I make sure I use them to. So they went to different campus, there are different hostels, the shops in the different hostels, and they were demanding for that particular drink. It might be one person that will visit even 3 hostels. The other person in the other hostel will not know. But what they were doing is that the other person that owns the other shop in the other hostel will call another person. But please, have you ever seen freeze drink? That's it. A lot of students are coming here to ask me for freeze drink. And what did I do? After I created that particular sales promotion, people now came to the market and they were looking for freeze drink. It was a very simple thing to do. And it helped in the sales. You know, even in Oba, people were not calling, "Where is this product? I have not heard this product." Because some of those people in the streets will not go to Oba where they are buying their goods to go and ask the wholesalers or the distributors, "I beg, do you people have freeze drink?" Even those distributors that don't know what freeze drink is will be confused. And they say, "Please, if you see the drink, bring it, let me see how it is," so that they can call the company and know whether they can be a distributor in that country. So sometimes you need to think and know how to make that your business tree. Financial plan, just as we're talking about, in financial plan, you look at the business forecast. What will this business be? Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And that's why I say, most times because we don't examine our businesses, you notice when you do the stock valuation. For instance, you started business with 1 million naira. After year 2, what is the value of the products in your shop? After year 3, what is the value of the business in your of the goods in your shop? Or you're a service provider. After year 1, what are the clientele base or clients base that you have provided services to? Year 2, you also need to look. Because if after year 1, year 2, there is no progression, that means that business is not growing. You are just in business for being in business stage. Business can only grow when there is an additional value on that business when looking at where you started and where you are as at that time. And that's why we talk about the forecast, the projections, and other things. We also look at the projected cash flow. For those of us that are into buying and sales, what is the cash flow? In fact, it's one of the major demands banks will ask you. When we get to funding, we'll talk about it. This is one of the major demands banks will ask you when you want to call for any loan, especially when your business. Most banks will look at when did you start business, how many years have you been into business? If you have not been into business for at least 2 years, they will tell you to bring cash flow projection. Because they want to know, okay, looking at what you have done in year 1, year 2, where are you looking at that will be in year 3, which you have not done any business with? Where will you be in year 4? Where will you be in year 5? Usually it's 5 years that they will ask you. 5 years cash projections. And that will determine whether the bank will continue with that loan processing or not. And in fact, for other different funding organizations, like what we have the BOI, Bank of Industry, that's the name of BOI. We have a Bank of Agriculture. We even have offices of all these institutions, but most times people don't even know. You are looking for agric loan. Maybe you are into rearing of pigs or rearing of other things. You'll be looking for where to collect money. But you can actually go to all these places. They will come and examine your farm and give you money. And usually, some of those funds come with moratorium. Moratorium is when they give you some free interest period. Free interest period can be 1 month, 2 months. Because it's expected, for instance, if I'm a farmer and I get the piglets, the small ones, when will I start selling them? That's what they consider. And when they consider when it will start reproducing, when it starts selling, they can give you whether 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months moratorium. Within that moratorium period, you are not paying, you are not doing any repayment. Afterwards, your repayment will now figure. So you look at the financial plans, you look at the profit and loss. The accountants will help you. As your business progresses, you need to involve accountants in it. If you don't have time to do it, most times I do the calculation myself. Looking at all your sales record for that month, your earnings, your revenue, you check it and go after you subtract all the expenses, logistic expenses, staff expenses, the salaries payments and all that, the shop. You know, most times I still say, when you don't dissect this particular business, you find it as a problem. You will think you are making money when you are not making money. There's something we call an amortization. Amortization is when, for instance, I'm a shop owner or maybe a shop tenant and I'm paying in my shop maybe 250,000 every year. It's expected that I should divide the cost of that particular 250,000 by 12 months. And each month it should come into my P&L as an expense item. I don't know what you understand what I mean. It should come there as an expense item. Or you are doing a business, you buy Dyna, or maybe buy a fixed asset. It's expected that because that you are using that for that particular business, and over time, whether it's Dyna or whether it's any other equipment, there's something called depreciation. It will lose value, or it might start having issue. You need to also put depreciation of that particular item, equipment, or vehicle you are using into your expenses. So when you calculate all this thing, you see that when you really sit down and analyze some businesses that many people are owning and thinking that they are doing well, you see they are not doing well. Because when you put in these factors of the cost, you now see that most of those did I make profit. after looking at what you have gotten, okay, I sold 1,000 cartons of a particular product, and the gain on them is maybe 300 naira per carton. You multiply that 300 naira by how many cartons you sold. When you get the value, that is your earning or your revenue. Then when that revenue is gotten, the next thing you need to look at again is what did I spend, or what did it cost me to make this particular sales? You start looking at all those costs. That's when you bring the depreciation, you bring amortization for the cost of the rental costs, and then for that thing, staff payment, that salary payment, and all that. After, you will also pay yourself. You also need to pay yourself, because sometimes you notice that people don't even calculate their own payment, and they will see that their own payment as profit. You need to pay yourself. You agree in your business when you look at the profit you are making and know how much you can pay yourself. As the month grows, as the year grows, you can increase your salary, because it's expected that you should have promotion now. If as a civil servant, you should have promotion. As your promotion is coming, your salary is increasing. So as your business cycle is increasing, your payment to yourself should also increase. And sometimes people also pay benefits. They also calculate the benefit to their children. Maybe because your children, although they are not really integral part of that business at a particular time, but you still need to pay them. I don't know whether you understand what I mean. Those payments you are giving them is to really be sure that what you are doing, you are making progress in your business. And when we get to funding, you see the benefit of those payments, because those payments can come back again as an investment or funding to increase your business. Praise the Lord. All right. So, if you have any question at this particular juncture, you can ask. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. You mentioned the BOI in passing. How do I access BOI?
Okay, all right. Is it not better when you, okay, let me just go to it. BOI is back of industry. It's usually meant for people who are into productions or some specialized services. If you need a BOI, you have to go to the bank. You have to go to the bank. So when you come to the bank, you are going to look at your account performance and then also get the conditions that you are. There are some documents that you need to give to us. Some usually is collateralized. I don't know whether you understand what I mean by being collateralized. You have to give the collateral for it. But those kind of funding are cheaper funding than going to commercial bank to get collect money or to get a loan. But again, it's politicized. It's highly politicized. Most times, the applications, when you look at the number of people applying and the number of people that they are giving it out to, you see that is very minimal. And that's why most businessmen, because they don't want to. But if you have a strong product that you are selling or you are producing, it's a very wonderful idea to go to that. But even if it's agricultural related to all those food items, you can still go through Bank of Agriculture. Bank of Agriculture is easier. It's easier than BOI. So maybe when we get to funding, we'll talk more on them. Any other question?
Hallelujah. And sir, is it advised to buy already existing business or to start your own business?
Wonderful. This is very beautiful. But I think it's better when we get to funding, you understand that aspect where people can come to buy out a particular company to own it. Just like during the time we had the program in the church where I talked about, I brought two people that were fighting. The two big people that were fighting, they were fighting for the ownership of Transcorp Hotel, Transcorp PLC, who will be the major owner or the major shareholder. When you are major shareholder, that the one controlling the company, you are the one that decides the management structure or who and who that will manage that company. So it's very, very possible. It's good. But before you buy, there are things you need to look at. So that you don't go and buy. Or you can even buy a company that is there and it's on status. It's possible. Very, very possible. If you have a great plan on how to transform that particular company, you can do that. For instance, I know somebody who has bought a company which was almost closed. Just like I was thinking of that vegetable oil company in the road leading to your place. Every time I pass that road, it worries me. With Abba. Because I believe that somebody can actually come, get one. Abba is already a brand, well known. But all of a sudden they disappear because of challenges they have. And nobody is even, I was thinking that the state government would have actually gone, seriously, a lot of things are happening.
Praise the Lord. Please, that strategy used by sending students to apply for a particular product. Is it the same thing? For someone to say that you are doing marketing strategy through market penetration.
Of course, it's marketing and sales promotion. What I did was just to create awareness of that product. And the easiest way I put out to do it was to use the people who are the target market. Because it's the youth that drink now, they are the ones that drink pet drinks, all those RC and co. Once the heat is so high, people want to change something, they will rush out to any eatery, do you have this? And, you know, just give somebody 500 naira. The person is creating business value that you will sell with 1 trailer load. I don't know if you understand what I mean. When that product came into Sukami, I was selling almost 2 trailers in a week. A new product. People were, in fact, the fight are hard because people that now have higher capacity than me wanted to bribe the company. In fact, finally they succeeded in doing it. One person succeeded in doing it by going there, lying to the company that they are not in the same area where I am, because the company gave me sole distributorship for Enugu, Ebonyi, and Anambra. So no other distributor should come within this area. But they went ahead to give someone in Oba that distributorship because the person now lied that is not within this particular area. So the competition was now coming, and I removed my hands from it. And now the product is not known again. That's what also kills companies. You know, when you are so greedy as a production firm, when you are so greedy to make sales, you find it difficult, or rather you end up destroying that product in a particular market. So it was sales and promotion. Thank you. Any other question?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My question is this: how do you plan your structure? For example, you're talking about the depreciation rate. You're using a Ghana, or you're using another thing that depreciates.
Yes.
How do you structure it into your economy such that when the dynamic breaks down? Because most times you can be taking like 500 from your transactions, and when the dynamic breaks down or gets damaged, you don't have possible money or enough money to get a new one. So what are the structures or the factors we must consider in trying to get some percentage from our income?
Okay, if I understand your question, if the diner is now giving issue, and maybe every day work 1 week and stay in mechanic village the next week, work 1 week, stay in mechanic village the next week. By the way, that you will have depreciating value or expense in your P&L does not mean you should not have other expenses like repairs. You know, it depends on your business. Repairs, if for instance in a particular note, that dynamic issue, maybe you change oil, you change tire, you change all these things, you are supposed to also include it as part of your expense, aside that depreciation expense. I don't know whether I answered your question, but then if the dynamic finally is not eating more money than it's bringing, that means it's time for you to do away with it. You understand? You can approach a bank, approach any financial institution. We buy trucks for people, we buy trailers for people. That's the truth. For instance, there are some companies that you have to bring your own trailer to come and carry your goods. And they will sell it cheaper for you. But the risk is on you. If the product fails on the road, it's not their business anymore. So in such an instance, you have the capacity, you can approach a bank. When they look and analyze your financial transactions, they can give you a trailer. And the good thing about asset finance, we call it asset finance. The good thing about it is that asset usually is the collateral. So the banks will not ask you for an additional collateral unless when they see that there are other things in your account performance which is not giving them comfort to hold on that particular asset as the collateral. They can start asking you for additional collateral, which can come like legal mortgage. Now, legal mortgage is when you have a house, a building, and you have CFO on it. They will do what we call perfection on it. It's become legal mortgage. You can use it and support that buying. Or you do what we call insurance bond. Insurance companies can come, give comfort to the bank that if upon default, as a result of the customer not being able to repay this loan, we are going to repay the loan ourselves, and they will charge customer for that particular insurance bond every year. They will be charging customer, and that's bank can use that as a collateral. I don't know whether I understand. Did you answer your question? If you didn't, you can. Okay, thank you. Any other question, please? All right. Let us now move to funding. Remember, in financials, although using an example of what our brother complained, I talked about bookkeeping. It's very, very important that if you are making sales, you should be keeping records. You'll be keeping, in fact, it's even needed for your tax clearance. Because what FIRS will do when they want you to come and pay tax, in fact, it's happening. Some companies that are existing now are not existing in their portal. That's what they started doing. They have started removing some companies. When you go and search, you will see that company is not in existence. But they are having their documents. Why? Because the federal government is trying to have more revenues from tax payments. And because of companies over years have never paid tax and they have been in existence, what they do now is to remove their TIN number and remove their name from search. So if, for instance, you approach a bank to give you facility, they will come and search to be sure that your FIRS is active. And once it shows that it's not active, they will not give you money until you rectify it. And what does it mean? You go back to FIRS to get activate what we call TIN number, tax identification number. That's what TIN number, tax identification number. You go back to that and activate it. And when you go back to activate it, they are going to tell you to bring your statement of account. Statement of account for the period when you started business. Usually the first years are free. You started business with your organization and you. First years they might just overlook it. But then from subsequent years they are supposed to pay tax. And they will now look at the outflows and inflows and use it to determine how much tax you need to pay at that time. Unless you start battling with them, going to and fro. That's the reason why I say once your business starts growing, you need to involve an accountant, so that they can always do, that, statement of account for you. Look at your P&L, know whether you make profit. Because tax is usually on the profit made, percentage of the profit made. That's when tax is not on your whole business, but because you delay the pay, they'll be looking at all the things that will be entering into your account as the whole revenue that you have made for that particular period. So we are going to be looking at now the funding options we have.
Excuse me. The main measure of FIRS and TIN. Most of us don't know the full meaning.
Okay, FIRS is Federal Inland Revenue Services. Federal Inland Revenue. There are people saddled with the responsibility to collect tax for the government. It's a government parastatal. That's if I obtain pass an education contract.
Please, I want to ask, all this inflow, outflow, and how do you liken this to someone that sells ogiri in the markets? How will the person, like all these market women now, how will they be able to calculate their inflow, their outflow? Because it seems this inflow and outflow is for the educated ones.
Okay, thank you. But we are not selling ogiri now.
For someone else, like selling ogiri.
Alright, for the petty traders, we have trader money that federal government is doing for them, which is usually sometimes I think it's 20,000 naira that they give them or whatever. But you know, most of them are on bank. What do I mean by on bank? They don't have accounts in the bank. So if you don't have accounts, there is no outflow or inflow unless you have your sales record. That's your book record of what you have sold in a particular month or what you bought to do that with the materials you use in producing that with you can that's what you bought, and then when you sell. So if you have a book record, that's where it becomes very important to you. But for the basic traders, there are other financing schemes for them, which usually is that trader money that they do. Banks will not finance such. That's the truth. But as someone who is doing that, depending on your mindset, that business can be enlarged so much that you will be thrilled. If as a graduate, I have a mom that is doing ogiri, for instance, do you know if I am able to get funding, maybe after my youth service, I'm able to save let's say 500,000 because I will be doing other jobs to add up to whatever they are paying as allowance. I can go to the market and buy more of those particular material they use in building, and then look at sending it out to those. I talked about someone who is selling up at Lagos. Yes, I talked about it. And he currently has branches. He will look at Igbo dominated area and go there and open one branch. Because online is really offer. And even when we start, because it's a faster type of something you can buy and eat instead of going, you buy it, you put it in nylon and you go to work, and maybe when you want to have breakfast, you quickly open it and eat. Even the Yorubas have started buying over. Yes. Over time, people will start appreciating a product which ordinarily is not their culture. So if you, as an ogiri person or ogiri seller, you have that mindset, or you have someone who can support you in that business to expand it, you can expand it in a massive way that you can come and open even an account in the bank. Ogiri production or ogiri whatever, depending on the name that is approved by CAC. Yes. Who told you they don't export ogiri abroad? What are we not saying? Yes, they do that. But what those people that are into that export usually goes to those retail markets, buy from all those petty traders and export. Not that they produce it themselves. But when you do the production yourself, you have more profit. You maximize profit. You reduce cost and maximize profit. So you can actually open a bank account and have inflows around this. Any other question? Alright, so we are going into funding. We have one of the funding options which we call venture capitals. Venture capitals are when you have people who are interested to invest in that business. There are some programs I've watched where some investors will call out people that have different businesses. You will come out, you will talk about your business, what you are doing, how you make your sales. In fact, just looking at your business plan, you are going to read out your business plan to them. Questions, if they have questions, they will ask you. They will look at how productive or how viable that business is. Some of them will now say, I want to invest maybe 30% or 15% or 20%. Maybe you are actually looking for investment, or you are looking for investors that can take 30% of the investment portfolio in your company. There are investors like that, venture capital. We call them venture capitals. There are companies like that. They can come when they see an already existing company or a startup that have possible products or services they offer that will sell in the market, they come to partner or they even come to take major ownership of such companies, and we call them venture capital. So it's part of funding options that you can consider depending on your product or service that you offer. Then we also have what we call the business angels. The business angels. Business angels are those people that, they will just on their own say, I want to invest into your company. Maybe an individual, I want to invest into your company. They are not after whether you are making profit or loss. They are not also after to be part of the ownership of that particular company. So we call them the business angels. We have also assistance from government. We talked about trader money, which our former vice president was spearheading. It was actually in charge of the economic side of the leadership while they were in office. That's Buhari and Osibanjo. So they had what they call trader money, which was actually financed for those petty traders, just like I explained, that give them funding to enable them increase their sales or increase their products that they sell in the market. So we have government assisted funding options. We have, for instance, Bank of Industry, which is government related. Bank of Industry, just like we have displayed. Once you come for that application, we give you the form, you apply. And when you apply, we are going to call one of their workers, they will come, we will go to where you are doing your business, they will come and analyze it. And also analyze your statement to know whether you are qualified for such a facility that you are requesting for. We also have Bank of Agriculture, which usually is for agri-businesses. Agri-businesses, be it farming. Farming can be crop farming, it can be animal farming, it can be rearing of any kind of animal, it can be agri-businesses, maybe finished product or any particular business in the agri-value chain. When we are talking about value chain is from the time of cultivation to the time of the end user. Those people that are the middle people that are doing such businesses are entitled to take up loan from Bank of Agriculture. So even if you are selling foodstuffs in the market, maybe for those of them that are selling things in bags, those things in bags at all, or all that, we are qualified to take Bank of Agricultural loan. If you are rearing pigs, any kind of animal, depending on the scale that you are doing the business, you are qualified to take Bank of Agriculture loan. If you are also doing palm kernel, just like you have palm kernel clusters around here, you are also entitled. So any of those businesses within that value chain is entitled to take loan from Bank of Agriculture. And two of it is that they have an office here in Nsukka. They have an office here in Nsukka along the road. Along the before that, almost opposite EEDC. Almost opposite EEDC. The second floor. Opposite. Just the line. In the line between Access Bank, after Access Bank, if you are going towards that EEDC, you are going towards that, the next building, they have a particular office there. So you can meet them, they will come to your farm, or they will come to your business location and assess to know whether and how much you are qualified to take from them. We also have the Development Bank of Nigeria. The Development Bank of Nigeria helps for those who are into manufacturing. Do you know the good thing is that their rates are usually cheaper than what commercial banks will give, because these are federal government establishment or they are in partnership with federal governments. So we also have the Development Bank of Nigeria. We have African Development Bank too, which you can approve depending on the scale of your business, but usually it's for production. And let me also say it here. The current administration, they are interested in production. And that is why we are talking about reducing the consumption level. And it's also part of the reason why they wanted to invite dollars to discourage people from importation. You know, till today, even though we are producing rice, we are still importing rice in Nigeria. the truth is that the population of Nigeria is so much that whatever we are producing is not enough for us. It's not. So you can see that you can actually bank on this population metrics to do any business and make profit out of it. Then we have the commercial banks. Commercial banks give loans, overdrafts, and advances. Let me start from the loans. We have different kinds of loans. And I'm going to be telling you the loan that will be good for your business depending on the type of business you are doing. If you are into fast moving commodities, remember we talked about FX